in Chicago, and Oliver is resting. You're not sleeping, Oliver, because I can see your eyes are open, but he's had a long day of playing in the park, and now he's chilling a little bit. And I thought this would be a good time for me to answer a question that quite a lot of viewers have asked, and that I've never really taken a stab at, which is, what was it like to potty train Oliver? Now, potty training is not easy. It takes a pretty huge investment of time, especially in those early weeks right after you get your puppy. We got Oliver when he was 10 weeks old, and in the first 3 weeks that we had him, I actually kept a kind of log of Oliver's potty training. So I guess you could call it a potty training journal. And I was looking through it today. I haven't really looked through it since he was a puppy. It made for some pretty entertaining reading. So my goal in keeping this log was to keep track of roughly how many times a day Oliver was peeing and pooping, when he was doing it inside, when he was doing it outside, to get a sense of how often and when we needed to take him out. And I'm not sure how effective the log really was, which is probably why I stopped keeping it after 3 weeks. But it did provide some interesting data, which I was able to put into chart form today. So here is the first chart that I created today. It's Oliver's rate of peeing over time. So you can see in this chart, the top line is the number of times per day that Oliver peed outside. And the bottom line is the number of times a day that he peed inside. And you can see that early on, he was peeing inside quite a lot. On the first day that we had him, he peed inside 4 times. And then in the 5th day, he peed inside 3 times. But then in the 8th day, he didn't pee inside at all. And we thought we had the whole potty training thing down. But then, as you can see, the next couple of days, he peed inside a couple times. So the graph ends at around day 20, but I can tell you that he did not really, his potty training wasn't perfect until I can't say that he's even 100% perfect now, because actually last weekend he peed right in front of me inside. I don't know what he was thinking. I guess he just forgot, or he thought maybe the rules had changed, or he just really needed to go. I'm not sure. So he's still not 100% perfect, but by the time we got to him being around 8 months, I would say that's when he was mostly we felt safe that he was going to hold it. I mean, little puppies really can't hold it, actually. So you need to be watching them carefully, and you need to be taking them outside. So that's Oliver's rate of peeing over time. And I also made a chart showing Oliver's rate of pooping over time. And here, the top line represents the number of times per day that he pooped outside. And the bottom line represents the number of times a day he pooped inside. And as you can see, he did not poop inside all that often. And that's something that we found, that Oliver is generally, even as a puppy, he was generally able to hold his poop and wait to do that outside. So I thought I'd maybe give 3 tips today on potty training, things that I learned through the experience of working with Oliver on this. And Oliver, as I mentioned before, is my first dog that I've ever had. So I was totally new to this. So these are three tips I would have for you if you are just getting a puppy, or if you're thinking about getting a puppy. And the first tip I would have is to take your puppy outside. Now, this is probably very obvious, but I really want to emphasize how important it is to take your puppy outside frequently, especially when he or she is young. Now, if you have a backyard, that's really easy. You can just let your puppy outside. Unfortunately, we don't have a backyard, so that meant we would need to actually take him to the park. And going through the journal and counting, we were taking him to the park generally around 8 to 9 times a day when he was in the first few weeks after we got him. So it's a really considerable investment of time, but you really need to do it so that your puppy learns to go outside. If you're not taking your puppy outside, how is he going to learn that, or she learn that? How will she learn that? When your puppy does pee or poop outside, you can be very encouraging. You can say, "Great job." You could even give a treat. Now, ideally, it would be great if your puppy could tell you when he or she needs to go outside to pee or poop. And I know that some of our friends have had success with putting up bells so that your puppy can ring or nudge the bell with their nose to indicate when they need to go outside. We did put up the bells, and Oliver figured out pretty quickly because we put them on the gate that blocked the stairs going downstairs. He figured out pretty quickly that when he rang the bells, we would come and open the gate for him, but he didn't really seem to connect that with needing to go to pee. Instead, he would ring the bells when he wanted to get our attention or when he wanted a treat. So that never really worked for us. So mostly we were just taking him outside a lot and watching to see what times of day he often had his accidents inside. We quickly realized that he often would have an accident right after he ate, so that we would always want to take him outside right after a meal. So that's my first tip. Second tip would be to keep your puppy with you at all times. Now, this is ambitious. It's hard to do, but I think it's really important in those early weeks if you can spend as much time as possible in the same room as your dog. And your goal is to watch carefully, as carefully as you can, so that if your puppy looks like your puppy's going to sneak off and maybe have an accident, you can interrupt your puppy. I actually became quite attuned to the very gentle sound of Oliver's pee hitting our hardwood floor. So that's the kind of sound you're listening for. And the goal is to interrupt your puppy. So often I would use like a high-pitched sound, or I'd say, no, don't do that. And then to take your puppy outside so that I would take Oliver outside so that he could finish his business outside. So that way your puppy learns, wait, this is something I'm not supposed to be doing inside. If you're not interrupting your puppy in the moment, it's just too late. I mean, we never really there's no real way for your puppy to connect any kind of after the fact scolding with the peeing that your puppy did like a minute ago. The puppy's not going to necessarily connect those two things. So you need to startle your puppy, interrupt your puppy right in the moment, and then that's how your puppy will learn to stop peeing and pooing inside. Now, I make it sound like, oh, wow, that was so easy. I was spending all my time with Oliver. I mean, I did spend a huge amount of time with Oliver in those early weeks, but sometimes you have to do stuff yourself. Like, for example, sometimes you have to go to the bathroom. And I remember in the very first week that we got Oliver, I wanted to bring him into the bathroom with me. That's one thing you got to do when you have a puppy, because you have to keep your puppy around you all the time. But Oliver really didn't want to come into the bathroom, and I said, okay, fine. I'm going to be really quick. It's just going to be a minute. And in that whatever minute and a half that I was using the bathroom, Oliver managed to poop in the upstairs hallway right outside the bathroom, but around the corner where I couldn't quite see him, and then walk through the poop and spread it up and down the hallway. So when I came out of the bathroom a minute later, it was unbelievable how quickly he had done this. There was poop everywhere. So this is the kind of experience you're going to have when you have a puppy. It's just really hard to keep your puppy with you at all times, but that really is the goal. You want to, as much as possible, keep your puppy with you. And for us, that also meant we needed to put gates up to keep Oliver in the same room with us. So generally, we want to keep him on the main level where the kitchen is. So we had to put gates up to prevent him from going upstairs or downstairs without us. So those are my first two tips. Take your puppy outside, keep your puppy with you at all times. And my third tip is to have your puppy sleep in a crate. Now this is called crate training, and it's a really useful technique. So the idea behind crate training is that your dog doesn't want to sleep. Your dog doesn't want to pee in the place where your dog sleeps. Makes for an uncomfortable bed if it's wet, right? So we kept a crate. Oliver slept in his crate right next to our bed, and right from the start, Oliver was kind of, even though he did occasionally pee in his crate while he was sleeping, right from the start, he got the sense that this is something he didn't want to do. So generally, I think from the very first night, he would whine to be let out because he didn't want to pee in his crate. So now this is kind of tedious and kind of frustrating and annoying to be getting up repeatedly in the night to take your puppy out. Now, fortunately, it wasn't that often in the night, and I made another chart to show this. So as you can see, this chart shows the number of times that we had to take Oliver outside in the first 20 days that we had him during the night. And I'm defining the night here as between 12:30 and 6:30 a.m. because those are the hours when we would ordinarily be asleep. As you can see, it was never more than twice in one night. And even in the first 20 days, there were 2 days, these sort of miraculous days where he didn't actually need to go outside during the night. But generally it was once a night. And even though I stopped keeping track after day 20, I can tell you that this went on for a month and a half, where we would need to take Oliver out at least once during the night. So again, you need to be thinking about taking your puppy outside both during the day and during the night. It's not easy. It means that you'll be spending a lot of time outside, especially if you don't have a backyard. You need to be very patient. You need to spend a lot of time with your puppy, which is hopefully something you're going to be wanting to do anyways, because puppies are so adorable. It does take a lot of time. So be aware, potty training isn't easy. It's not going to happen right away. Puppies need time to learn how to control their bladders, and I think just physically it's hard for them to control their bladders when they're so young. So if you're about to get a puppy, good luck. If you've got a puppy right now, good luck. And I hope you can share in the comments your own experiences with potty training, how long it took you to potty train your dog, and what other tips you have about how to do it best. So thanks everyone, and good luck. What do you think, Oliver? Yeah, you're like 99% potty trained now. Want to make it 100? All right. Come down. You can do it. You can do it. Yes. Oh no!